Welcome back, y'all. Not the way I wanted to come back, but the Kings do not get the job done tonight, 120 to 109 in the desert. I just got back from the desert during Super Bowl weekend. I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was lighting the beam. I was talking, you know what, to all Suns fans. I was loud and proud. But tonight was not one of those nights, and it hurts. It's like a stab in your heart because you understand that the Kings could have played better. They gave up way too many paint points. They got destroyed. They got demolished in the paint. That is unacceptable. And we're going to have Vince Miracle joining us, my co-host today. But that was unacceptable on so many levels. So many levels, man. Let's put Vince on real fast. Holy cow. I'm not happy with what happened today. My brother Vince, we back, man. 2-week break. Again, I came from the desert. You about to go to Salt Lake City and provide great coverage. Can't wait for that. But your initial thoughts, man, because I am pissed.
A lot of horrible defense, especially down in the paint. That's literally what you can say is defense, defense, defense. Another game where the Kings gave up 120 points to an opponent. And the big thing is, I mean, to see not just Booker go off for 35, but then to see, to go off for 32, but then to see Ayton go off for 29. It's
DeAndre Ayton, no disrespect to the man, but they made him look like an All-NBA center today, and we know he's not that.
But I mean, the big three for the Phoenix Suns just completely broke down the entire Kings. Like, they knew exactly what their game plan was. Went after, I mean, Chris Paul looking like vintage Chris Paul, 17 points, 19 assists. It was a great game for the Phoenix Suns. You have to give credit where credit's due. They're a really good team, and those three just went ham.
Those three plus the role players. So we got guys like Torrey Craig and Josh Okogie, right? 8 of 13, 2 of 3, 3 of 4. The odds of them shooting 5 of 7 one more time this season is very low. And their role players provided the spark they needed with no Cam Johnson, with no Mikal Bridges, and with KD waiting in the, on the bench to make this team even better. So, for the Suns fans that are saying, oh, well, we can't wait till we get our guys. We were missing 2 starters. I'm like, relax. Yeah, you're missing 2 starters, but your role players made up for that production. Make no mistake about it. You're not going to have another night where Craig and Josh shoot that well and play physical defense because they allowed a lot of physicality. Good for them. But those 2 guys were super key. Then we had a football player tackling De'Aaron Fox and Wainwright, which is crazy. But the Kings got to be better in the paint, and they had a great chance to solve that issue with a Mason Plumlee. The Clippers took full advantage of it. I love what they did. And the Kings are still very weak at that position. Chimezie Metu is not that guy. They got to play Richaun Holmes. They don't have a backup point guard. And I hate to say it that way, but I've been saying it all year long. I love Davion Mitchell. He's an undersized shooting guard who can't shoot. But they need a guy that can just provide a spark. Reggie Jackson was a perfect guy. Obviously, he chose to go back home, but that was just some of my thoughts, man. Am I overreacting, Vince, or are the Kings gonna fall in the standings eventually? Because this team is looking like a first round team and out.
Look, man, this team is going to be a part of this big stretch here where they have to figure out what they are defensively. They can't just be a team that continues to struggle like this. They're not a team that is they're not built to be like, hey, we're gonna always outscore you. That's not playoff basketball. And when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of it, the standings are tight in the Western Conference, and these losses continuing to pile up will be a problem for the Kings if they can't right the ship just defensively. Offensively, like, you look at this team, the Kings did play Kings basketball today. I mean, Fox going for 35, Sabonis going for a straight Sabonis line, 24, 15, and 7. Kevin Huerter provided 18. Harrison Barnes was a big lackluster for me over these last few games, giving only 11 points.
Looking like Harrison Barnes of always.
Like Harrison Barnes of October is what he's been playing like. And look, defensively, they were attacking almost everybody. Herter, Sabonis, they were really pressuring them into playing one on one. The Suns exploited every switch, and like you said, man, like these wins are needed against these teams. Yes, they're below them in the standings, but they're teams that are hungry. This Phoenix Suns team, they just got better at the deadline, man. Look what they did. They acquired Kevin Durant. That is a game changing, franchise changing, playoff title contending player to get. And they're only going to get better throughout the season. On paper, I think the Suns have the best roster in the Western Conference on paper. Not saying that they're going to be that, but when you see a game like this and you see what that big three was able to do, this game could have got really out of hand if Kevin Durant was also on the floor.
So why do you think that Rashawn Holmes is not playing over Shemezi Metu when we both know that Metu is not a center? Why do you think that? I think we know why Coach Brown feels that way because of his ability to always foul. But in a game like this against bigger backup centers, you need to put Holmes in this game.
Look, man, I really can't put my finger on what it is. We saw a few minutes a few weeks ago that Holmes got. I mean, he got to play a heavy dose of minutes when Sabonis was out for that one game, and he looked phenomenal in that little bit of time that he got. I think he almost finished with a double-double, or he did finish with a double-double. I think Mike Brown is just one of those guys that once he's built the idea of who he has in his roster and the people that he believes can not just play defense and commit and hustle the way that he wants them to, but offensively can stretch the floor. Like, Mike Brown is completely different offensive-minded coach now. Like, he wants space and pace, and that's what he's getting when he gets guys like Lyles and Metu to be out there to be able to play that 5 spot. And we know that Holmes isn't going to be that stretch big. Yes, he can run the floor well, but at the same time, look at this roster. You said it. Their best passer on this team is Domantas Sabonis. That's the best passer on this team. After that is De'Aaron Fox, but neither of those guys.
Best passer by like statistics, or best passer you think best playmaker? Because he's not a better passer than Fox or Monk.
I think he's a better playmaker than both of those guys. I think he's just able to read the floor and pick up instantly what he's going to do, whether it's in the post needing to score or finding the guy on a backdoor cut or finding the guy out there for the three. Just the way he's able to pass the ball off DHOs and anything like that. Like, he's just really good at doing it. And look, man, this Kings team doesn't have that pick and roll lob threat anymore. That's not the offense they're running. They don't have Tyrese Halliburton here. We've talked about it off the air. Like, Rashawn Holmes needs to be sending like thank you cards every month to Tyrese Halliburton for the contract that he's on. And I'm not saying that he's overpaid by any means. It's just he's not on a roster now that fits him.
Yes and no, because he does everything Metu does. He rolls. He can play lackluster defense at times, but still has more upside to play better defense than Shemezi Metu. So I disagree with you there. And yeah, he can dribble. He don't need to dribble. All he got to do is set screens and just hand the ball off, which he's done in the past. Like, there's nothing special that Metu is doing offensively. He's not out there dissecting the defense like Harry Giles was. Like, we're getting carried away, and not you, but just like as a fan base, when we talk about, oh, well, Metu, and again, I see a lot of Kings fans on Twitter talk about either play Holmes or go out and, hopefully they buy out Nerlens Noel or somebody of that sort. But at this point, I'm like, I'd rather play Alex Len, and I'm not the biggest Alex Len fan, but Metu,
Another guy with size down there.
Yeah, like I'm not a Len fan, but he's a better option than Metu right now. He just is.
Yeah, I mean, we were hoping that Metu was going to get run over Lyles, and so we can't really hate now that he's getting run and saying, no, now we don't want to see him. And I get it. The role is different than what
the
we were
role is
expecting
different.
The role is different than what we were expecting.
And Lyles is playing that role to perfection right now, and I'm not a Lyles fan.
I mean, you have to give credit where credit's due, and I said that the last time I was on the show. He's really developed into that role. It's just the belief, it seems like, in having that backup center, knowing who that go-to guy is. They've played with it a little bit. We've seen a bit of Holmes. We've seen a lot of Metu. Excuse me. But yeah, man, I couldn't tell you the right answer. I couldn't tell you the right answer on that.
Hey guys, please talk about need more of a backup point guard. Davion is not an NBA level player in my opinion.
He's an NBA level player
For
defensively.
sure, yeah. He's an
He's an
elite
NBA.
defensive player.
So I mean, it's just his role should not be to handle the basketball. Every time I see him with the ball in his hands, I literally scream to get it out of his hands. He's not a playmaker. He's not a real dribbler either. He has fundamental moves that he does really well, but it doesn't get him to the basket nearly enough. He doesn't have that crazy speed, and that's where Monk comes in. And this is the sad part about it is
Yep.
I think the that Davis is getting confidence knowing that he's getting the runs and he has the green light to shoot, which is what you need TD to have in order for him to be productive. We saw him get 11 points off the bench today. We saw what he was able to do in the second game against Dallas where they won. But you can't have Monk, Davis, and I mean that would just you can. It's just such a small front already on a team that's playing already a small center, a small everywhere. So
My
this team
guy,
needed help at the deadline.
yeah.
I thought they were definitely going to do a trade.
Yeah, which we'll touch right now. But a huge shout out to our guy Perez Burrows, watching from the Bahamas, a fan since '98. We appreciate your support, brother. He's coming in from Facebook, so we're streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Not Instagram yet, and Instagram will be our big streaming service because that's where we got the most, fans. But for whatever reason, they have not rolled it out for every creator on the platform. I'm hoping that it happens soon because once we get that crowd, these streams are going to be crazy and we can't wait for that. But a huge shout out to Medici Sacramento and the rest of our sponsors who, again, a lot of restaurants were thriving today on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I know the Kings ruined your night, ruined our night too. But it is what it is, man. Enjoy your loved ones. I know Vince is. I know I am. It's a good time to be alive. The Kings are still lighting the beam for the most part. It's been a good season. I want to act like the season's over or overreact. They had a bad game. The Suns had a great game, and the Suns will get better. But overall, the Kings have had a great year, and if there is any hope of them improving, it's going to be either playing Rashawn Holmes or hoping that somebody gets bought out or maybe even calling Dwight Howard. I don't know how you feel about that, Vince, which we can get into, but something has to happen because as of right now, this team is a first round exit, 100%.
Yeah. I don't think anybody views that if this is placement games, right? If these are like everyone's trying to start playing for placement, everyone is trying to play against the Kings in round one. That is 100%.
Oh well, I'll take this back. If the Kings can somehow face Dallas in the 7-game series, that is their best option to make it to the second round. Anybody else, if those teams are healthy, say it's the Clippers, say it's the Warriors, say it's the Nuggets. Yeah, like that, they'll beat Minnesota or Dallas, maybe Dallas, but that's their best outcome because any of these other teams, if healthy, which again, some of these teams aren't healthy, but if they're healthy, I don't think they're better than any of these, top echelon Nuggets, Grizzlies, like those types of teams. Suns, obviously. They're not better than the Suns today without KD. So, and again, the Kings didn't have Malik Monk. Add some context to it. I don't think Monk resolves any of the issues that happened today, which was paint production. They got destroyed in the paint. They shot over 70% in the paint. That is unacceptable. So, with that said, what can the Kings do in the buyout market if, any of these guys are available, Vince?
I mean, it's obvious what the Kings team needs. I thought they would address it at the deadline with how many second-round picks that they own. The Rashawn Holmes contract still being a
Thibault looked great
player.
yesterday, by the way. Go ahead.
What was that?
Thibault looked amazing yesterday defensively.
Yeah, he also looked great offensively. We haven't seen that type of game from him in a while. He was knocking down threes. He was getting steals. He was getting blocks. Thibault looked great. We thought that deal was a deal that was coming down the line. I did a full 2-hour show, and I really thought we were going to hear the Mason Plumlee deal. I thought that was coming. It obviously didn't happen. The Clippers got a backup center, which they needed for Zubac. It's just it was a bit disappointing leaving the deadline knowing that they didn't get that player. Is a Nerlens Noel going to be available? That would be a nice pickup. But then again, do you already have? I mean, Nerlens Noel, decent rebounder, good at running the floor, a foul machine as well. Is he better than
Facts.
Rashawn?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Is he better than Rashawn Holmes?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So like then you're like, okay, so there has to just be then it just comes to the question, then why are we going after those types of players? I'm not sure what they address. It seems as if perimeter defense is the thing that they're locking down on the most. Uh, Look, Coach Brown is going down his bench and he's calling on guys like Keon Ellis to start getting minutes. And Keon Ellis got a horrible foul call. I mean, he should not have been reaching in the cookie jar against Devin Booker in the end of that third with 6 seconds left. I think there was only like 4 seconds left on their shot clock to end out that third quarter. It was just a horrible decision to be reaching in there, getting contact on that arm. They're looking for perimeter defense, it seems like, and I think that they're forgetting the interior defenses where they're also getting lit up. They needed help. They had opportunities. It did. I wasn't upset by it. I think it's understandable. You know, the mindset, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're sitting number 3 in the Western Conference. But as someone
That's
that likes to
bullshit.
say,
That's bullshit,
yeah,
and we all know it. There is no context to the, oh, we're sitting at number 3. Most of his teams are injured. The Kings have been very fortunate to have very good health. So I don't want to hear, and again, I stayed away from Twitter. I didn't tweet much the last 2 weeks. Now, obviously, we had Tyson tell me, so-and-so is saying that the Kings shouldn't make no deals. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to let them talk. But on this show, we keep it real. That is bullshit. This team should have improved. And that fan that was trying to clown me for saying, oh, everybody on social media has an opinion, and guys like Leo shouldn't have an opinion. I was like, yeah, keyboard warriors like yourself don't understand basketball and should not have an opinion because this team is third, but it's like a fool's gold third. Let's be honest. If everybody was healthy, this team is the 6th or 7th best team in the West. Stop it. Come on, man. Stop it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but as we always say, the best ability is availability.
That's
the
true.
Kings have had that, so you can't really
I'm
give
not
praise
knocking
and
them.
also give knock at the
I'm
same
not
time.
knocking them. I'm just saying to come out, if you're a member of the media, and I don't know who said what, but to say that it's okay to stand pat because you're the number, like if that is your point of view and your only argument to not make a move at the deadline, that is fool's gold and that is foolish. Now, I don't know who said that, but whoever said that, I would tell them to their face that that was stupid because it is. Now, if your argument is De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Harrison will continue to play, and I feel like Fox and Sabonis will, keep up their great play. But if your argument is Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes are taking the next level, I can be like, okay, I'm listening. But if your argument is, oh, we're the number 3 seed, it's like, no, that's a stupid argument to not make a move. That makes sense?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, there's always room for improvement, and I get the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But look, man, I know who it was who said it, and
Okay.
I talked about on the Deadline show. They tweeted out essentially most Kings fans are going to be disappointed when the Kings make the smart decision of standing pat. And I quoted that tweet and I said, I don't know if I would use the word smart move or right move, whatever it was. And I would say understandable and safe. That's what they were playing at. They were playing it safe at the deadline, thinking that this Kings team does have the number 1 offense in the league. They play at such a nice pace. They're playing well as a team. It's just there's definitely voids on this roster, and one being at the center position, one being
Right, at the point
questionable
guard.
at the forward position, and obviously the backup point guard role. And the fact that there were so many backup point guards available makes it a huge question mark. A name that I've heard a little bit get floated for the Kings after the buyout, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about it, is John Wall. I just don't know how I feel about it.
Interesting, but is there any truth or merit to what Tyson's saying? Sam Amick said that they had Vanderbilt, but Lakers poached him.
They had Vanderbilt, but they poached. I mean, if Amick said it, I mean, I would never doubt the great Sam Amick. Sam Amick is a very insightful guy. He has a lot of
Now that
people
would have
that
been
he talks
huge.
to.
Like if they had
Vanderbilt would have been
him,
a great get.
so that's tough. But to your point about John Wall, you're right. I think he's washed, but in a situation like this
Well, you
where
just need a passing guard. You need a passing guard that can get you a quick 12 points. Can he get you 12 and 5 off the bench? He just can't play no defense, and then you're stuck in the same situation. You know what I mean? Like that's
Reggie
why when I
Jackson was
heard
a
that
guy.
when I heard it, I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. I can hear Patrick Beverly, and I'm like, he's not. He's gonna go
Oh
to a
hell
contender.
no, no Patrick Beverly, bro. Have y'all seen his defensive numbers? The only thing he does great at this juncture of his career is that his mouth is extremely big, and it got him traded to the Lakers. And once the Lakers saw him in person and they had to deal with him for the first half of the year, they're like, God, let's get rid of this junk. That's all he is. He's not shooting the ball well. He can't put the ball on the floor unless he plays the Kings, because then the Kings will run at him, which is just a joke. But any other team, please stay down, shoot the ball, and we'll live with that. If you're the Kings, they gonna run at everybody. It seems like, man, they have no fundamentals, no defensive awareness. This team is awful defensively, and we saw it again tonight. But no, Patrick Beverly should not be an option, especially on this team. John Wall, it's such a bad
It's
situation
weird.
right
It's
now that
weird.
I might
It's
consider it, but
weird.
I'm not like in love with it either.
For me, it's just weird. Like it's like
Yeah.
I didn't like a lot of what I saw in LA. You never liked anything that you saw in Houston. He's a guy that thinks he's still a number one. I mean, but he was willing to come off the bench in LA. So, is he willing to be a backup? I mean, if he's willing to be a backup to De'Aaron Fox and play similarly to De'Aaron Fox, where if it's those lineups where it's him and Domantas Sabonis on the floor, okay, I think that it could work because look, they essentially kind of play the same play style. Just De'Aaron Fox took it to another level at this point. And let's not disrespect how great John Wall was when
Mhm.
he was the guy in Washington. So maybe having him as a backup isn't the worst idea. I just feel a little iffy about it, but it doesn't take away from their interior defense. Again,
Right.
teams are attacking Sabonis. They know he doesn't have the lateral quickness. Yes, he has the muscle, but a lot of these guys are just wanting him to bump him so that they can find their rhythm into a shot. Like if you're bumping somebody to be able to get your shot up, I mean, that's what people do to find their rhythm, to know where they are in the post. It's hard. It's hard because this Kings team is definitely going to continue to struggle defensively. It's trying to find that identity. They had spurts where they look good at times, but it also seems as if the opposite team is just losing their way in those moments, and the Kings are just keeping up with their flurry of offense, and that's why their pace is so key in games for them to be able to set it. And Phoenix was able to slow it down multiple times. They played their pace this whole game.
Hmm.
It was able to go fast on fast breaks, but really just if the Kings scored, they slowed the ball down, ran a half court set, rolled multiple pick and rolls. I mean, that's going to be the Kings' kryptonite. And when you get into the playoffs, you can't always play this fast. And that's where I'm drawing a lot of concern, and why I really thought this Kings team could have benefited from some type of trade at the deadline.
What do you make of Keegan playing 21 minutes tonight?
I mean, it is what it is. There's going to be times where Keegan's going to be getting his normal dose of minutes. I'm not really concerned about Keegan, and also like this is another thing we haven't even talked about or even considered is it's the game before they go on a break. Like it's the game before the All-Star break. They get that time to start relaxing a little bit. Does that mean they should have? I'm not saying they took this game off by any means, but even with this one, they're a whole game above Phoenix, holding down the third seed. I don't believe either team now plays until after the All-Star break. It's time for them to regroup. They were trying a lot of different things today. There was a lineup in there. I can't remember the full five, but it's the first time we've ever seen it. I think even Katie said it. It's the first time we've even seen that lineup on the floor together. Um, it was a game where the Kings stayed competitive. They showed their offensive power, but they also showed where they struggle the most, which is defensively and defensively down the stretch.
The fact that the Kings looked into Derrick Rose says something. It does. It says
Thibodeau's
that.
not going to let Rose go, and
Right.
unless he knows for a fact he's getting somewhere. Like that's Thibodeau's guy. He's not going
Yeah,
nowhere.
facts. I mean, that's his guy. Yeah, it's interesting. One can say that it shows that the Kings don't have faith in Davion, right? Because they're tired of just the non-existence on offense. He's just been so bad offensively again.
But the shot
Great
looks like the problem is the shot looks
shot
great.
looks
It
great.
just doesn't
Like his
go in.
mechanics
It
look
just
great.
doesn't go in. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks if it don't go in. That's the problem.
Damn, man, that is crazy. You're right, and we always talk about this when we hoop. Talking about hooping, bro. So I called Fulton today, and they said that we gonna love the new court, new rims. I'm excited. I'm hoping that I get to hoop tomorrow, maybe probably the following day. But they got new stuff, bro, and they did everything in 1 week. So we gonna see soon. New. I forgot that you're injured though. Damn it.
I'm thinking about coming, bro. I haven't played in like 3 weeks.
Facts. I mean, it's been
I'm
tough.
probably got. It's feeling loose. It's feeling good.
Herm
Doesn't mean
says Herm says he's almost back too, so he might come back at the same time.
I might. I thought I was retired, to be honest. Like every time I'd bend my knee, I couldn't bend down to pick up a piece of paper, bro. I'd have to ask someone next to me, "Hey, can you grab that?" Because I can't bend down. So if it gets to the point where I can start bending for real, I'm gonna start running on just running a little bit and see where I'm at. It's gonna take me a minute to get back into game shape, but I'm hoping to be back out there again.
So Mr. Edwards played today. He had 10 minutes. He looked solid. I'm not gonna say great. He looked solid defensively, but didn't do much offensively. What'd you make of his? Was it his debut tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what'd you make of it?
It was a player that knew he was getting limited minutes and tried to make an impact.
Yeah.
I don't like reading too much into these limited minutes where they look good for like a spurt.
I agree.
I don't know. It's nice to see. I mean, they need a long wing. It's just I don't expect him to start breaking into the rotation and earning like significant minutes. Like look how long it took Terrence Davis to find a role. So,
but Terrence Davis is so sporadic. He gives you good moments, but I just feel like his negative moments outweigh his good stuff. And it may seem like I'm hating on the guy, but he does it in the worst time. Like he commits turnovers in the worst. And these are things that people kill Buddy for. But like Terrence Davis is like a Walmart version of Buddy when it comes to like shooting the ball and actually scoring the ball.
Version of Buddy. I'm sorry. No offense, TD.
Right. So, but and on top of that, he commits really bad, turnovers and just unfortunate situations where either the momentum is headed your way, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna dribble into a crowd, or I'm just gonna, do a shot in the full type of moment," and you're just like, "Bro, that's why Mike doesn't trust you."
Give him credit though; he's been trying really hard defensively.
I'm not saying he hasn't.
No, these last couple games, he's been trying really hard defensively, and you can tell. I'm not saying he's playing great defense, but he's playing intense defense, and that doesn't always mean it's going to turn out great. But the fact that he's been showing that energy on the defensive side, I mean, I gotta give that man some credit. He's trying to earn a consistent role, even when this game is when Malik Monk comes back and his game starts to fade off in the rotation.
So there's 3 turnovers that I'm talking about. At this juncture of the game, let's watch them all. It's 86-80 with 2 minutes left on the clock. And we see Sabonis almost travel, kicks it out, right? TD should have shot that ball. I mean, he's open. He got space. He decides to attack. Okay. And then that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can't trip. Again, what does Jerry Reynolds say? A bad shot is better than no shot. The Kings got no shot, and this probably
led. Blame a man for falling.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, especially when they're down 6, and that's a momentum thing. Turnover number 2. Once again, pump fake. But look at Sabonis' face. He's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, these are the things that I'm referring to. Okay, turnover number 3. It's funny how it says bad pass. Uh, here we go. Okay, this is an inbound. Okay, PayPal. I don't want to see your PayPal, so okay, inbounds it. The Kings are down by 4.
He's
Here
still
we
out of
go.
bounds.
Oh my God. I mean, this is great defense. I'm not gonna lie.
Was he
So
trying to lob it?
yeah, he was trying to lob it, but to give I'll let him slide, but at the same time, Malik Monk would have just dished it off with his left hand, right? And he tried to lob it, which Aiden is going vertical, so I'll take that back. That's an awful turnover. Like you can't this is bad, bro. I try to get a bet.
He's also put into a whole new role right here of like getting this green light. He doesn't really get.
He
these
always does
moments.
this though, whether the role changes or not. These turnovers are a staple of his game.
I mean, I do think he forces things a bit. I'm not gonna take that away, but Terrence Davis should know that his goal is not to pass. His goal should be to score. The up and unders that Malik Monk is what gets the defenders in the air, like Aiden was there, to where he makes those nice swing passes. Well, I'm not gonna be over here acting as if Malik Monk's been fantastic.
He hasn't
As of late. I mean,
He hasn't.
sometimes his passes are so lazy and he tries to be so flashy where it gets kind of frustrating to watch. But I mean, at least he is a better facilitator, and you need it. My thing is I was really hoping Kevin Herter would be more aggressive, knowing that these teams are forcing him off the 3-point line to make decisions with the ball. And he's a pretty good passer. Like, I'm not saying he's great, but make the moves. We've seen you attack. Yes, we know that you can, dribble and get to the paint a little bit with your size, but use your passing ability a little bit. That's the one thing I want to start seeing from Kevin. That would really help
100%.
in a lot of these offensive sets.
So I really want to break down Aiden's night, right? His 17 field goal attempts and how both he and Chris Paul really dissected and just destroyed the Kings in the paint. Again, as you said early in the show, both of these dudes look like they were all NBA players tonight, which is unfortunate. Which, again, it's more of the Kings allowing that and them allowing other teams on a daily looking like they're better than what they really are. And
they also are a championship trio. I mean, let's not forget that. This Suns team is a championship trio. Like they were not like they won the championship, but they were just in the finals. Like it's not like they're not good players. Ayton is a really good,
he's a really
all-star
good player.
Caliber type of player.
I'm not going to go that far, but
he's an all-star
also
caliber. I'm not saying he's an all-star, but he's an all-star caliber player. And Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, and Devin Booker is wet like
right. But
book.
DeAndre Ayton chokes in the playoffs. I mean, he's a shell of himself. Which is why getting the KD is going to make life so much easier on him, where he doesn't have to be, quote unquote, the third option anymore. And we saw that last year and the year before when they were in the finals. Like Aiden wasn't what he was supposed to be. But yes, I give him credit. Obviously, Chris Paul is the point god for a reason. But the Kings just got to be tougher, man, and they have to communicate better. This is, again, not much you can do at this size, right? HB contests. That's just a smooth looking shot.
My thing is in the beginning of that play. Rewind it a little bit.
Okay.
Right when Chris Paul, why are they doubling Chris Paul that far away from 3 when you know he's not going to take that?
Stupid.
They don't like. I get that they're trying
hard
to
hedge.
prepare for
Yeah, hard hedge and just go back to your man.
Like there's no reason to be out that far. That Chris Paul got you guys exactly where he wanted you, and Harrison Barnes. Yeah. Not rushing up, walking up to that spot when you know Ayton is a capable shooter from the free throw line. That's just knowing personnel that's there. But doubling right there, doing a hard hedge and just force double. There needs to be communication there. That was very
great. Right. So great point, Vince, because the first mistake was hard doubling. Not Steph Curry. Right. So that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is Harrison Barnes reading the scouting report. Okay, Tony Gray can shoot, like Craig can shoot. We know that. So I'm going to help off of this guy cheat. But he half-assed cheated because, as you said, he half-assed contested. Like, you got to be better. You have to know where that's going. Like, you'll live with this guy shooting, even though he shot exceptionally well today, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. But that has to be a stronger contest. So great point there, bro. Let's look at the second one here. I love that Iverson cut by Devin Booker. The Suns do a great job in just getting him in the paint, getting him to a spot to where he can just rise over you and just shoot that mid-range shot. Well, this is just a great shot. Like, I don't know what else Sabonis could have done. I mean, you're not trying to foul the guy. You're not going to block his shot.
You're one-on-one out in the corner.
Yeah.
They isolated Ayton to take that jumper. That's a guy with size taking advantage of a guy that he has the height advantage of. Like, this is textbook basketball. Like, you have to take those jumpers.
100%. So again, better offense, decent defense. Here we see a missed shot, so we get a little pick and roll.
Look at their communication off that pick and roll.
Well, yeah,
Ayton's gonna be wide open right there.
A late and this was a delayed pick and roll because he was just waiting till somebody made the mistake. And let's see who made the mistake there. Well, first of all, Booker missed him, right? Let me see.
He was open.
Yeah. Again, pick and roll is a split-second decision.
No one's getting there.
100%. So he missed him there. Okay, whatever. Devin Booker kicks it out. Entry here.
Triangle set.
That's a good shot. Like, that's good. That's quality offense, right? Like, there's nothing better you could have done. That's a shot in and out. Sometimes you just miss good shots, but
it's questionable too that pass from D Book that we're talking about, where we're saying he missed him. Maybe D Book sees that as a bit of a force because there is someone still sitting right there. I can't tell who that is.
Keegan.
Right there, standing there. Okay, Keegan standing right there, right? So.
Yeah, but if you lead him though, like Chris Paul would have led him perfectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean but you feel the force. You see that they're ready to be there. Okay, so then you reset, run a quick triangle to where Ayton is essentially by himself. Look, swing. Ayton's essentially by himself. Now they're in a triangle set right there. Boom. Yeah. They're in a triangle, and that's it.
Right.
He's alone. Look how far Devin Booker walks out so that there's space for Ayton to work.
100%. This is a turnaround fadeaway shot, drive and kick by Chris Paul, which is all he wants to do. You got to know that. Again, like, if I'm Harrison Barnes, right, you're already out of position. And then, is that Josh Okogie? Kicks it back out. So now you got a mismatch here. And Chris Paul, and they just feed. Like, they really emphasized Ayton really getting to his spots today. And it's more of a let's give him the love that he wants, right? Because we understand the whole issues with him in the offseason. He didn't text his coach or give him a call. And now with KD coming, it's like, okay, let's prioritize getting him involved early, which is what they did. This is all in the first quarter. Like, DeAndre Ayton's getting all these shots that he typically doesn't get in the first quarter.
I think they're attacking Sabonis. That's literally what the game plan was. Sabonis keeps his distance. Ayton has the height, and he has the quickness too over Sabonis, and he was able to rise up every single time. And then on top of that, when Sabonis gets physical, guess what? Like I brought up earlier when we started breaking down this film, Ayton is one of those players that wants you to bump him so he knows exactly where he is and he can adjust. That's all he's looking for is that bit of context. So he can
right there. Where he's at. And Sabonis doesn't give it to him, right? So now he's out of control. He kicks it out.
Horrible pass, by the way.
Yeah, right. So he was expecting that bump that you're talking about. It didn't happen. Smart play by Sabonis. The terrible pass back to him. So that's more of a luck and just, again, sometimes it's better than being lucky, right?
Chris Paul thought it was a turnover. Look where he's going. Chris Paul running down.
And then you get this. You're right.
That's just
yeah. Good. Like if he hits that again, great shot for him. But in the process of getting that shot, I would feel upset if I'm the King. So good defense there by Sabonis. Here we go again. Feeding Chris Paul in the high post. Nice little pick and roll here, probably. Oh well, again, like if again,
so much eyes are on the ball. So many eyes are on the ball.
Look, man, You know what the scouting report is, right? You've watched this man play for 15 plus years now. You know he's not going to shoot the shot, right? You know he and if he does shoot the shot, he don't have the angle or the lift to get that shot. So why would you not read this, anticipate it? Again, like Sabonis got to be better
There's
there,
that bump right there. There's already that bump. He sees
right?
exactly where he's at. Boom, there it is.
And he just gets to a spot. So this is just a lack of fundamentals, a lack of understanding from the Kings. It truly
I don't even know, but
disappoints
I
me.
really just don't know if they don't have that defensive dog in any of them. I mean, every shot that you're showing right now of Ayton is the same thing. They get them isolated against Sabonis. And we don't. I mean, I don't know how much we're gonna keep going over all of this Ayton film, but Sabonis is not good defensively. There's no beating around the bush about it. He tries. He's been showing a lot, which gets him also into a bit of foul trouble
He's
because
been
he's already
better.
getting. I think he's also the. I think as they saw it the other day, he has the most offensive fouls in the league. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's doing a lot of showing where he's trying to put pressure on the ball early on the entry pass. But then again, when you have a player like Ayton who wants you to do that so he can try and beat you with his quickness, stop, get the touch, and get the shot up, it's hard to stop a guy like that. Ayton is a all-star caliber player, and if you have a point guard like this is just a good team. You can't
Yeah.
take anything away from the Suns. There were times where the Kings played good defense, but really they don't have consistency on defense, and they're not a team where you can believe they're always going to outscore the other team, and that's where the playoffs are always going to be the issue. They're going to be a first round and out type of team.
Yeah, and they just don't have the depth. Like their starting five is solid. I really do like their starting five, but Monk is as unpredictable as they get. He had his moments where he was really good, and then recently, right, like for a good 15 games, he was just god awful. And yeah, like you can't have that if you're a 6 man of the year type of guy.
That's a tough shot. That's a tough shot.
Yeah, that was better defense there by the Kings. Let's see this turnaround the hook shot here, using his size again.
Because if we're going to look at pure offense, Sabonis' footwork in the post is, I've tweeted it. Sabonis' footwork in the post is a work of art. That guy is go. I love his footwork. I love Sabonis' footwork in the post.
Yeah, he's been really good all year long. Let me see real quick.
He's been good for. I remember like a couple of years ago. I think it was even last year when I called him the Jokic of the East. I was
Yeah,
announcing that like crazy. That man is gross.
right here we go. We put you back on the screen. Chris Paul once again keeping his head up as always as a great point guard that he is. It doesn't matter. He never gets rattled by anybody. I mean he's just waiting, and then this is just that's great. That's great defense though. Like
You can do.
there's nothing you can do there. There's
Taking
nothing you can
advantage of
do.
the size. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just size. They know what to do. And again, he's just looking for the contact. That's all they're waiting for. It's a bonus will give you all the contact you want. He's willing to bang with anyone down low because of how strong he is. That's exactly what Ayton was looking for. That's exactly how he gets his space, and that's exactly how he's able to elevate over you. Look at all this action. This offense is just
great
amazing.
ball movement. Yeah, that was just beautiful. Like, and it all started here, right? We see like a ghost double stagger screen.
Yeah.
So that was more of a ghost because I mean, that's just right. And then we get number two. I think it's Josh. And then
that's a Kobe.
Yeah,
faking the drive, goes back out. So Ayton has the paint. Chris Paul gets the ball and goes, let me get another pick and roll here. And then Ayton just gets to sit there because they're going to have to help on the drive because Kevin Huerter's not out there defensively.
Phenomenal. That's good basketball.
They're a good
It's
team.
a good team. It's a good team.
I don't care what the standings say. This is a good team.
They're better than the Kings.
And they're fourth in the West now. I mean, they're a good freaking basketball team. They've been to the NBA Finals.
Once again, cleared the whole side for DeAndre to go one-on-one against
Chris
Sabonis.
Paul's leaving. Chris Paul's leaving and said he got this. Rewind it. Chris Paul left. He saw it and he leaves.
Yeah.
Watch. Gives the ball and just leaves. All right, he got it. He just left.
Yeah. I mean, he was spacing it out, but yeah, like he's just like,
What do you
barbecue
do?
chicken there.
He got it.
You see tip layup shot. This is to end the half. Oh my god. This is a
Is this
breakdown
the
here.
foul?
So
Oh no, this is
so we get a half-ass double as usual by the Kings. We see Devin attack, good defense, great defense actually, and then just the size of Aiden, and just a bad job of boxing them out. But regardless, everybody's out of position at this point because Fox wanted to go double, and just it was a bad double to begin with. But this is just the size of a DeAndre Aiden. Like when Aiden's engaged, he's really good, right? You keep saying borderline type of all-star, absolutely. But the reality is he doesn't always play this way. And like that's me being fair and very generous. So yeah, like tonight he looked amazing. Here we see, God, man, they're setting some high hammer screens up here. Great roll, great anticipation pass there on the slip.
gosh. I just looked at Aiden's stats over the last 30 days. He's averaging 24 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean he's playing great.
71% shooting from the field and 80% from the free throw line.
That's not sustainable. Yeah, I mean that's not sustainable, but yeah.
That's 30 days. That's crazy.
I mean, Harrison Barnes had a great month too, but we know that he's finna come back down to like earth. Like that's what he is.
I mean, all we need is 13. All you need to see is 13 to 15 points, and
for sure,
consistent defensive effort. I feel like when his shots aren't dropping, like those open threes, he starts to put his head down, and defensively, he kind of starts like lackluster and getting out on defenders, and multiple times too. They put Harrison Barnes in these situations where he has to essentially guard two people, and it doesn't look fair on Harrison Barnes because then it looks like it's late, but he's stuck by himself. Like this Kings team has no defensive personnel whatsoever away from Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, and again, Chris Paul did this all night long. Anticipatory slip. It's so quick you can't get to it.
Such a gross pass. That's three players right there, bro.
And again, he gets to a spot. You're not going to foul him. It's smooth. Like when Aiden's on, he's on, right? But again, I like him. I just don't think this is sustainable. But if it is, then they going for sure going to be in the finals.
18 and 10 is sustainable for him.
With KD? No.
With KD, okay, 15 and 10.
Okay, that's
KD.
fair.
I just think KD makes it easier for him. I mean, if KD makes it easier for him, he can be on the floor with any one of his guys. I mean, he's gonna get you his points as long as he's staying. And defensively, he's strong. God, he's one of the very few centers that give Nikola Jokic like real problems.
Look at this, anticipatory
dime.
slip.
Look at this dime.
Good play there. Oh my God, this is gross. They just dissected the Kings.
They're a good team.
They really did. Let me see last one. Let me see. Chris Paul, quick. Oh, Lee has looked good this year for them. He's averaging like 9 points for them the whole year.
Yo, I love seeing Steph Curry watching Suns games. Is that weird to say? Like when he posts it, and he's always really, because Lee's his brother-in-law.
You're right. Again,
so it's like he's always watching him. I like watching Curry watching him.
Great pass. Just
let's talk about the West real quick. You think the Pelicans are gonna fall out now?
Let me see. So let's look at the standings real fast. Let's see. Western Conference. Denver Nuggets 40 and 18. It looks like they'll run away with the first seed. And after that it's open for everybody. We got the Grizzlies at 22 losses.
Season. It's open season right there. Look at 2 through freaking 6.
Gross.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
The Pelicans are on the outside looking at 28 losses. Minnesota's at 29 losses. Golden State is scary if they ever get healthy, but they probably won't.
Those are all playing teams right there.
And then
7 through 10.
The Lakers with LeBron, we know they gonna make a push because that team got better. At least on paper they did.
But how much longer are we gonna have to wait to see that? I mean, they say LeBron's most likely gonna come back on Wednesday against the Blazers, which then
Mm.
cancels them out. I think they move them up, right? Because they're 2.5 games
Yeah,
back
but
out of.
but they're, yeah. I mean, they're like 3 games in
But
the
the
loss
question
column.
is about the Pelicans because the Pelicans are a team that has really struggled since Zion's been out, and now it came out yesterday that Zion's going to be out multiple weeks
Mm.
post All Star break. Like,
Mm.
they don't even have an actual timeline until they get back from All Star break.
Jeez.
That's where I find that interesting. And OKC is just always good, man. They're so competitive. I I, I could see the Kings falling as low as seventh, and then they're in the play-in.
That I literally have I've talked about this all year long, bro, and why they needed to make a move. Like, if they fall to the play-in, make no mistake, they can literally be the Cleveland Cavaliers of last year, where the Cavs sat there at fourth, at third all year long. Then they had some crazy injuries, and they fell and they lost to it. Again, Kings fans are acting like if they face the Lakers and they one game elimination with LeBron James,
I'm
guess what's
taking the
gonna
Lakers in that game.
guess what's gonna happen? Like,
They're
Kings
going to be
fan,
the 5 to 7 point underdogs in that game at home. Can I be honest though? Can I be honest?
go ahead.
I think if the Kings make a play, like if the Kings go to the play-ins, right?
Mm.
I think it's good hype for Sacramento for them to lead into the playoffs. Like, it's good experience for them to be in that mindset already, that like elimination to get them into the playoffs, and the atmosphere of Sacramento buzzing because
But they have to be like a
again,
7 seed though, because if they fall to like 9, then they're in trouble.
oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be. Look, the Kings are going. The Kings are going to be at least in the play-in. I can guarantee that.
Oh, for
Look,
sure.
and I said it during the offseason before a lot of these moves were made. I said the Kings were making the playoffs this year, and I stand by that.
So if they make the 7 seed, you still think they'll make playoffs?
Yes, they'll make the playoffs.
Well, I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm just
Seven,
saying, like,
seven plays 10,
right.
right? And I would think that they can beat the Jazz.
Yes, I would I would say so as well. But
The scary thing is though is let's say at 10 it's
God,
Portland.
no, just say at 10 it's the Lakers. You just like
If it's at 10
no,
it's
no,
the
no.
Lakers,
So
and you got
no, wait.
it's
So
ice in
no,
my veins, Russell, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James.
and Russell loves playing the Kings. That's like the worst part. But no, 7 plays 8, 9
is that what it
plays
is?
10. If yeah, so it would be tough for the Kings not to make it if they get 7. Like,
If they
if
make 7 and they play Minnesota,
yeah,
I think that's a very, very, very tough game.
you think so?
Yeah, I think Mike Conley makes that team better. We haven't even seen them yet with Karl Anthony Towns, and the Kings are struggling with just Gobert there. Towns makes the difference, and the Kings have nothing to counter that. Even if they want to play fast, they have nothing to counter that. It's not a panic, by the way, Anthony. This isn't panic. It's just more
Yeah,
so like
this is being realistic.
it's just realistic talking. Like, I still think the Kings are going to be a playoff team this year.
Me
Like,
too. Me too.
and let's say they stay at 3, right? 3 plays 6.
Yeah, they not being a healthy
Okay.
Clippers team.
Are they playing? And they're playing the Clippers. You're telling me the Kings are going to be the favorites against Kawhi and Paul George?
Come on, man. Stop it.
Who would you want to see them play the Dallas Mavericks? This is the playoffs. Let's say in the play-in you have Golden State and Minnesota coming out. Okay, so it doesn't really affect you in any way. But Golden State, Minnesota comes out. Who do you want to see the Kings play? If it's Golden State, Minnesota, the Clippers, Dallas, Suns, Memphis, and the Nuggets. Who do you want to see the Kings play?
So the best, obviously, they'll beat the T-Wolves. And they'll beat the Mavericks.
I don't even know if they beat the T-Wolves. That's the thing.
Yeah, they'll beat them, but I think they'll beat the Mavericks. But obviously, Luka is like so good in the playoffs.
So
And
is Kyrie.
So is Kyrie,
So is Kyrie.
and the game's gonna slow down to where iso ball is gonna be a real thing, and then they gonna make Sabonis beat you. With Sabonis, when he has to beat you, he's not very good. And I've been saying that, like, that's not his game. It's not in his instincts to attack. Like we've seen that this year. I forget who it was. I think it was Philly or somebody else. But when they made him, beat you and like be the option, you saw a whole different version of Sabonis. Like, Sabonis wants to look for people. That's his game. So it'll be tough. You're right, man. Dallas is gonna be tough if they get Terrence Ross
back.
And if they get Terrence Ross, did they already get Terrence Ross or no?
I don't think it's been official yet. There was something about Terrence Ross today. I don't know. I don't know where he went. I know he went to a playoff team though. He's going to be able to light it up. I mean, Josh Green is real too. Josh Green is so real.
His defense has been solid.
Tim keeps knocking down threes. If they do get T. Ross is gross. Christian Wood.
T. Ross would be good on the Kings too, though. I think T. Ross is a better version of Terrence Davis, and he would definitely help. But does he?
Suns got Jackson and Ross. So the Suns got Terrence Ross.
What?
I knew there was some news about Terrence Ross today. I just didn't know what it was.
Oh my God! Obviously, yeah. I mean, if I'm him,
they stack it up. That team's like a real team.
What Jackson? Reggie?
No, Reggie. I thought Reggie went to Denver.
Me too. What Jackson he talking about?
Justin?
No.
I think Reggie. I thought Reggie went to Denver. No, Reggie went to Charlotte.
No, but he's gonna go to Denver though.
Still with the Nuggets. He inks deal with the Nuggets. That's what it is. He plans to sign with the Nuggets. Reggie Jackson went to the Nuggets.
Okay, that's a huge get. That's a huge get for the Nuggets, by the way. That's the guy I want for the Kings. Like, he would have been perfect on the Kings.
Terrence Ross expects to join the Phoenix Suns. That is real.
But what other Jackson is he talking about? Yeah, Sabonis looks for
Josh
people.
Richardson got 5 steals in his Pelicans debut. Yo, that Pelicans
team. He went to the Pelicans. That's right.
Yeah, if the Pelicans just had Zion, bro, they are such a deep fucking team.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty good.
I love Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, he's solid. Who would you rather have? Jose Alvarado? Oh, he said my bad. All right. Man, Tyson been wrong a lot lately, bro. Like,
yeah, look. Do you see his most recent take in the chat?
What did he say?
The Kings beat the Clippers in the first round. Kawhi and PG should demand a trade to the Kings because they would blow that team up. Tyson, you tripping, bro?
Yeah,
no big name is saying Sacramento.
Yeah, like they not gonna beat the Clippers. At least I wouldn't bet for them to beat the Clippers. Richardson had 5 steals. What was I gonna say? David says yes. Sabonis looks for people. The Kings don't move without the ball. But yeah, man, we've had a good show, man. A good return. We broke down the film. We actually, before we end it, let's double check and see if the Kings, have their interview up. I am curious to see what Mike Brown had to. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's listen to this real fast. Can you hear it?
No. I'll tell you what he's saying. Hey, our team's defense was horrible, and it's up to me to make sure these guys know the defensive sets. But it's also on the players. The players just need to take accountability for not being in front of their guys.
So you are listening to what he's saying?
No, if that is what he's saying, that's hilarious. Because no, I can't hear a word that he's saying. I'm making it up. But that would be funny if I got that dang spot on.
Okay, hold on. Okay. It says it needs to update. Okay, so we're gonna do it again because we cannot update while we're live. So I'll update it right now. All good, man. Actually, probably what Vince said though. Probably what Vince said. That's pretty accurate. Vince, any final thoughts for tonight, man? I know there was a lot. We talked about some good stuff. Had a great conversation. This was fun. Always fun. Chatting it up with you, man.
Yeah, for sure. We don't do it. We don't even do it as nearly as much as we used
Facts.
to. We've just been busy, man. Life's been throwing stuff at us. That's always good things.
Mhm.
And final thoughts on this game was just, the Kings struggle defensively. They have to find themselves an identity post All-Star break to figure out what they are and who they are on that side of the ball. Offensively, they're going to be good. But it's not time to panic. Don't hit the panic button yet. They got a tough stretch here, though, Leo. A tough stretch. They got Portland coming right out of the All-Star break. They got OKC twice. I think they got the Clippers as well. All teams hunting them down as the number 3 seed. But before all that, heading into the weekend, let's give a round of applause. I know you got the button over there. Sacramento Kings do have 4 players representing them during All-Star weekend. That is amazing. Like you said at the top of the show, I will be frontline coverage there in Utah for SacktownRoyalty.com. You guys follow on YouTube and TikTok, youtube.com/SackKingsNation, TikTok SackKingsNation, of course, the site SacktownRoyalty.com. We're going to have a ton of interviews, a ton of content. So for all of your All-Star stuff, go ahead and check me out, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. On Twitter, @VMCenter.
At Twitter, VM Center, my guy, my brother, Vince Miracle. I appreciate you for always showing up and being super reliable and a very good friend. But guys, Kings don't win tonight. We don't light the beam. Y'all can grab your merch though. It's right here underneath this stream, somewhere in here. We got that feature now because we're close to 10,000 subs. Make sure y'all keep sharing the word. But appreciate all the love and support from the sponsors, Medici and our taquerias as well. But man,
say that again.
Huge shout out to all of our sponsors, Medici and our taquerias, La Perla and La Nueva Vallarta in Roseville.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
But that's gonna do it, y'all. Man. I hate the fact that I came back to a loss. I was like, oh, shall I go back tonight? I was like, oh, damn it. But it is what it is, man.
I was gonna be able to cheers to a win before the break, but nope.
Yeah, so we can't do that. But again, we'll keep lighting the beam in spirit. Technically, we are lighting the beam because we got a bunch of guys out All-Star Weekend, which the Kings have never had, I feel like, in the last 16 years.
4 players representing the Kings. First time since Peja and Brad Miller have the Kings had 2 All-Stars in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and Vince will be there covering it all at a high elite level as usual. So thank you guys so much on behalf of the entire CK family and Basketball Zone family. We thank you guys, and we'll see you very, very soon. Peace.